Hi, I'm John Cavallaro.
Hi, I'm Diane Windhorst,
Hello, I'm Tom Ponte.
Hello, I'm Art Flesher from Suffolk County
Department of Health Services.
I'm your host for Something of Substance,
our monthly video magazine. Welcome back.
Each month, we'll show how
Drugs and alcohol
affects you, your kids, and your community.
We'll also give you a few examples of how services in Suffolk County
help people find the inner resources they need
to tackle their substance abuse problems.
Whether you're getting some exercise, having some leisurely fun, or enjoying the sights, Suffolk is a summer paradise. Hello, I'm Suffolk County Executive Bob Gaffney. Please enjoy yourself, but when you do, keep the alcohol at home. Drinking doesn't mix with driving, sports, or any other recreation. Have a safe summer.
Hi. This month we celebrate 200 original episodes of our video magazine, Something of Substance. We've had the pleasure of visiting exciting, innovative programs and hearing unique stories of hope, strength, and accomplishment.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery.
Suffolk County is about 80 miles long from Huntington to Montauk, and over the years, Something of Substance has been welcomed in various communities along the way. Here's a quick look at where we've been. Suffolk County is proud to have been at the forefront of many important education and prevention efforts. Early on, our energetic staff recognized that video could be a powerful tool to support these messages. Here are a few examples of how we sought to educate our viewers.
My name is Scad, and I'm here to say alcohol's not good for you in any way. So don't even think about taking a drink. Say no, that's a smart way to think.
At alcohol. Alcohol affects how the inside of our body works. First, it goes to our stomach, then it goes to our brain, then to our heart, and then it goes to all the other parts of our body. Alcohol can make us sick to our stomach.
One 12-ounce beer has exactly the same amount of alcohol as one 4-ounce glass of wine at 12% alcohol, is exactly the same as one shot or 1 ounce of 100 proof, whiskey, vodka, something like that, what you call distilled beverages.
Today, the high school is hosting the Driving While Informed program, which shows the students the effects of alcohol on the body as well as the brain, and especially while driving. They have special course lined up for them where they do a run-through on the regular driving, just on a golf cart, through a designated course, and then they are then put on a special goggle that kind of tricks the mind into thinking how it would be when you drink alcohol to be impaired.
Without the goggles, it was pretty easy to see where you were going. It was just like driving a regular car. It was not hard at all. Driving with the goggles, you couldn't see anything as soon as you put the goggles on. Everything was slanted, blurry, and you couldn't really make out which cone was in which lane.
The Goggles program is a program that was created by students and is run by students. And I feel that the kids get an incredible benefit out of it because they see their peers teaching them about drinking and driving, and as the program also includes texting and driving, they go into that. The Goggle program has shown young drivers how important it is to not drink and drive these days. It's amazing how many kids take it for granted that they can drive, and they don't think about the consequences that are down the road when they do get caught drinking and driving.
And right now we're having a youth conference, which is getting the youth of Suffolk County together to let them be aware of the tobacco issues and the big tobacco and what can they do about it. So they're doing projects here that they can then take back to their school and become ambassadors and do things in their community.
Smoking today kills 430,000 people in this country alone. It kills 45,000 in Canada and roughly 5 million people worldwide.
We're looking at substance abuse from a very broad perspective. We're trying to understand the consequence of drug abuse, what happens to the brains of people who have been abusing drugs for long periods of time. We're also trying to understand the mechanisms related to addiction. The brain uses chemicals to communicate. Now, these chemicals have names of dopamine and serotonin and acetylcholine. Dopamine is a classic chemical in our brain. It also plays a role in how we feel. Are we happy or are we sad? It also seems to be the #1 chemical associated with all addictive drugs. That is, any addictive drug and every addictive drug elevates brain dopamine levels.
We're trying to offer programs and services for children and families. And we go all the way from preschoolers all the way through teens. We have a parent component with most of our programs.
Sunshine Center, the place I'd rather be. Sunshine Center, a place that I am free to believe.
Sunshine Prevention Center is a town and a county youth agency with prevention as the focus. Prevention of substance abuse, violence, all the challenges that face families today.
The Choices graduation is amazing. The kids are working so hard behind the scenes to make what you saw today happen. And the other skill that they're really learning is getting up in front of the audience and doing some public speaking.
Basically, what we try to tell the kids is if we can help one person, we've done our job. And over the 8 years we've done this program, we've helped a great many people. So we feel we've succeeded in our job, and that is to help the community in any way we can.
It's real stories related to young adults that we bring to life by a group of trained actors. A majority of the stories have to do with alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, because for many years that was the focus of the program when I was, doing it on campus. But now we're growing into many more different topics. It includes domestic violence and eating disorders and computer addiction and MySpace.
Computers are a powerful technology, and they're a powerful technology that can provide you an almost unlimited number of facts about anything at this point via the internet. The problem is that it has no way of interpreting those facts for you.
If parents limit the number that they have in the house, keep down how much access a kid has to it every day, keep it in a central location where you can see what it is that your child is doing on it, especially with younger adolescents at 12 and 13 and 14 years old, so that you can, at least in your own home, have some observation and have some control over what it is that happens with it.
Probably the biggest thing in any venue, whether it be, buying drugs online, inappropriate use of, the auction sites, eBay, copyright things, and the drug problem is awareness. You need to know what your child's doing out there online.
A regular part of our show has been the interview segment. We've had the privilege of talking with a wide range of local and nationally known experts and celebrities. Here are a few of the guests that have given us some of their valuable time.
Flows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air, feathered canyons everywhere.
The truth is that there are no guilts in suicide, and one of the reasons for my writing of Sanity and Grace, my recent book, is to try to explore just how I was able to find recovery, to find, I like to say, thriving, not surviving.
That depression is kind of like being an alcoholic. You can never be cured of it. And so I know what the warning signs are, and I know how to fight it if it should come before it turns full-blown. You don't know that you have depression until you're in the middle of it. And even then you don't know unless you have the courage, in my case, to actually go and see someone about it.
It's as if the air were sort of full of some kind of thick, resistant substance, and just even having to walk as if you were sort of wading through a sea of rubber. You know, if you said to me, you're going to have to be depressed for the next month, I would say, well, I'm not pleased about that, but if it's going to be over by the end of November, then, I could do that. But if you said to me, you have to have acute anxiety for the next month, I would say, that is out of the question. There is no way that I'm going to do that. It was this feeling all the time of being completely terrified and having no idea what it was that I was terrified of.
Those who don't have what I call the benefit of my illness, they are struggling. I mean, I can now struggle with the things they're struggling with. The daily things that tear at us and that make us fearful and that sap our confidence. I had to get to the part where I got the tool in order to be able to be just as miserable as the rest of the world.
For the last 20 years, my husband and I have decided that we needed to get out and talk to people about what it's like to live a bipolar life before and after.
I want to put the book out there, anyone that have any mental or physical or chemical problem, to say, look at me. I had a problem, but I went and got help.
We as a society are paying at the back end because of our failure to prevent and treat addiction. We're paying, of every dollar federal and state governments spend on this program, if you just look at government spending, it's about $467 billion every year. Of every dollar federal and state governments spend, only 2 cents goes to prevention and treatment, and 96 cents goes to clean up after the problem.
We will never be able to match the money that the industry has, the lobbying weight that the industry has in state capitals at the federal level and so on. What we've got on our side is numbers.
4,000 kids tomorrow will start smoking because today we let them.
The lead model at R.J. Reynolds is the Winston Man for about 8 years, and I was paid handsomely to be the epitome of what young boys could be like if they chose to smoke. Macho, tough, rugged, robust, virile, all the things that are associated with that male smoking endeavor.
And seeing what the impact of a developing brain might have on both decision making as well as on vulnerability to drugs, we realized we need to see how we can put that into our work. And our work is trying to convince communities, parents, and teenagers to make safe decisions, consider the harmful consequences of drugs.
What's impressed me over the years is not the environment that a child comes from, but how he chooses to deal with it. People who make crime a way of life have a rather unique view of the world. They see themselves as the hub of the wheel around which everything revolves. Life is a series of actions kind of calculated to build themselves up at the expense of others. They're determined to prevail in virtually every situation, whether it's by deception, intimidation, or brute force. And they really lack an operational concept of injury to others, and they have a remarkable capacity to shut off the fear of consequences, just like you can snap your fingers.
Substance abuse and mental illness impact us on multiple levels. Let's take a look.
It's estimated that there's 2 million drunk drivers on the road.
Each year, there was approximately 4,500 individuals that are arrested for DWI in Suffolk County.
One of the strategies being used in society nowadays for people that have been arrested and convicted of drunk driving is the use of ignition interlocks.
What is the ignition interlock device? It's a machine, it's a piece of technology that is actually attached to the starter and computer mechanisms of your car that a person would have to blow into a breath sample to prove that they're sober before their car will start or continue to operate.
What's Mad's position on that, or thoughts?
Oh, we're 100% behind it, and we have been for some time. And we're working state by state to get laws passed that require an ignition interlock on any offender who's been convicted of drunk driving. New York State passed Leandra's law in 2009.
The law is named after Leandra Rosado, a young lady who was killed in an automobile crash from a woman who was not her parent, driving a group of children, young women, from a birthday party to a slumber party, and was the only victim.
And in the summer of 2010, it went into full effect, where everyone who's convicted of a drunk driving arrest is going to have an ignition interlock in their car.
Part of Leandra's law in terms of the child protective portion is to get people to make those conscious separations, is to not have 3 or 4 drinks or more, and then be the responsible operator of the vehicle with a child in it.
I had gotten involved with the dangerous driving conference due to the fact that my father was killed by a distracted driver.
As Courtney was crossing the street, she was struck by an SUV that came out of nowhere. It hit her and kept driving.
It's amazing to me that these volunteers can repeatedly tell the story. These are such personal stories full of such pain and grief.
The hardest are the holidays, Every day is hard because I always say that losing Paul was like the lights went off in this house because he was the noisemaker. He was, he was always happy and making noise and dancing and the music. So it was like the lights went off.
The importance of safe driving on our roadways is paramount.
The core of our show has always been the community of helping programs, professionals, and other individuals who support recovery on a daily basis. As changing times presented new issues of public interest, our program staff and participants were eager to open their doors to us and give our viewers insight into subjects that were sometimes difficult to talk about. We're certain that their generosity of spirit and message of hope led many others to take that first step towards seeking help.
Clubhouse of Suffolk is a psychiatric rehabilitation, treatment, and support agency. Our mission is to help people who have been affected by psychiatric disabilities to lead productive, satisfying, addiction-free, and healthy lives of their choosing.
Talbot House is the Chemical Dependence Crisis Center for the Suffolk County. We are certified by OASIS, and we care for people 18 and older, both men and women, who are in crisis due to their substance use.
We provide a variety of services, most importantly housing and support services for people with special needs. Those special needs are mental illness, people with mental illness, people who are homeless, families who are homeless, and people with HIV and AIDS.
And a Saturday enrichment program where we provide services on Saturday
for 4 hours for our youth.
Our philosophy is building healthy lives, and outreach looks at working not just with the teenager, but the entire family. And we operate from a perspective that it's a family-based model. You know, you'll hear the kids here talk about their brothers and sisters in treatment. This is their house, hence Outreach House. It's their other family. They have their family at home and their family while they're in treatment.
This is the third development that we've done here with Concern for Independent Living in Suffolk County. In each case, taking a facility that had been an adult home where people were really living in very poor conditions, overcrowded, not with the kinds of decent sanitary housing that we'd like to see, and to transform those developments, one in West Sayville, one in Riverhead, and then here today in East Patchogue, into beautiful new facilities where anyone would be proud to live. This is a building that people who don't have any need for supportive services would still like to be in this building because it's so attractive, so beautiful, and in a great location.
I've always been interested as an organization for the 28 years we've existed in doing innovative, different kinds of programming. We serve a lot of people with very unique challenges and combinations of challenges. So we're always looking for different types of environments to meet people's needs. And we found that many of the people we serve do their best when they're out in the world, in the community, not when they're in a classroom or staying home most of the day. We were able to find this ranch and purchase it and develop it into, well, continue to operate it as a functioning ranch, but also begin to operate a variety of day programs here.
This camp was started in 1946 by a group of Mauritius Rotarians. And what actually was the impetus for starting it was the polio epidemic. When this camp first started, it was basically catering to young children with polio, just so that they would have a summer to enjoy that the way everybody else did, the way that all their peers did. And that was started in 1946. The camp was opened in 1949, and we've been catering to children with disabilities ever since.
We've also filmed on location to give viewers a first-hand look at important conferences and public events that support and educate the prevention and treatment communities.
Today is the first annual conference of the Partners in Prevention program.
Today is about bringing members of the prevention community, coalitions, and even schools and colleges here today to talk about underage alcohol use as well as substance abuse.
Bridging the Gap began about 12 years ago when we wanted to bring the criminal justice population, the substance abuse population, and provide all the services that were available in our county to work together.
This committee that we're part of has been putting these conferences on the East End for about 8 years now.
So we brought a few of us together and we started to take a look at what's happening with our young people, what's happening with our adults in this community. We started to see some gang involvement, we started to see some gang graffiti happen, and we said it's time that we bring those folks together and let's get ahead of this and begin to do some real good education about it.
Today's event is Dangerous Driving, Drunk, Drugged, Drowsy, and Distracted. A group of prevention agencies and individuals felt that this is an extremely important topic for all of us, whether we're parents, students, community members in any capacity, law enforcement, legislators, elected officials. It's important for all of us.
This is the second annual prevention conference. The Prevention in Partners Committee was really happy about the success of the conference last year. So of course we wanted to focus this conference this year on something that could assist our coalitions, because the committee is in place to assist our communities throughout Suffolk County.
Welcome. We're at the Long Island United's Call to Action in Saving Lives at the Melville Marriott. Today's event was made possible by North Shore LIJ Health System and is a partnership between the Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Providers of New York State, the New York Society of Addiction Medicine and Friends for Recovery, along with the Nassau and Suffolk coalitions. And we are very happy to have over 250 people gathered today to talk about addiction in our community and ways we all can work together to combat this epidemic.
We've been able to share with you many wonderful celebrations supporting recovery.
Well, the idea really involves the fact that kids need alternatives to using alcohol and other drugs, and this represents one way that they can come to the beach, have a good time, and not have to be impaired, that there are other activities they can get involved with that are healthy for them and fun.
It's also good for them to see that there's lots of ways to have fun and to feel good without using drugs, and that hopefully they'll take some of these good feelings and bring it back with them in their own lives and teach it to their children and their other friends so that they can take this as a preventative measure, you know, that here's how you can have fun and good things to do with your free time.
You, me, recovery! You, me, recovery! You, me, recovery! You, me, recovery! To get sober, but thank God I made it across that finish line. We're not hopped up, we're sober, and we're having more fun than we've ever had in our lives, right?
Well, we've been working with A&E all along, and they've done tremendous work to bring the issue of recovery, you know, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, gambling addiction to the forefront. And they partnered with us, you know, and a whole host of other agencies with the idea, let's have a spirit behind recovery. And, you know, now today, look at this, 10,000 people in New York, you know, doing wonderful work to remind people that recovery is real.
What has driven our dedication to the Something of Substance video effort has been, and always will be, you, the viewer. We know that people watch us for different reasons, but hopefully we've managed to inform, entertain, provoke thought, or spark actions toward wellness. We'd also like to thank Cablevision for giving us broadcast time each month into the 800,000 households it serves. In the last few years, we've been fortunate to add the Prevention Resource Center as a valuable partner. In addition to supporting our efforts through staff and resources, they also provide viewers with the additional opportunity to see segments of our show through their website. Something of Substance has been a source of pride for our division, and we've received many compliments for our show over the years. We appreciate the time that you have committed to joining us on our journey over the past 200 editions, and hope that you'll stay with us for many more. We're eager to hear your feedback and encourage you to submit any suggestions you may have for future show topics. Please let us know what you think by sending me an email at art.flesher@suffolkcountynY.gov. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Art Flesher, and join us again next month for more of Something of Substance.